chalking the bars for her teammate, Lavinia Milosovici, and you see so much of this on the Romanian team. The teammates helping each other out, making sure they feel comfortable.
Well, they are comfortable. They're used to it. They live together. They train together every day. Whereas the Americans, they are from different parts of the country. They all basically train by themselves with their individual coaches. Steve Nuno right there with his athletes, Shannon Miller. Totally different system.
And our first look at 17-year-old Shannon Miller, the most decorated gymnast in the United States history, and she'll begin on the vault.
And we'll see the same vault we've seen from Larissa. This half twist blind landing.
Tim, the same vault as Larissa, is now the Hadagon, but it's difficult, and it's difficult to stick.
Go on the front of the horse because you had your head up. Make sure you keep your head in as you block, okay?
Steve always has a comment, always a correction. Now what he's talking about is Shannon's lifting her head off of the board. You'll see it right here, comes out a little bit, and Steve thinks that gives her a little bit too much rotation. And when you have too much rotation on a front vault, you take this step forward right there. We'll see if that last-minute coaching helps the vault out.
We'll average the scores of the two vaults, and that is the best score on a vault we've seen so far today.
Right here, it's right from the board to the horse. See if she can keep her head in. A little better.
I think it was much better. As far as the body position in the air, there was far less height. She tried to hold on as long as she could to stick the landing. We'll get another look at it right here. Probably better positioning on the front of the horse. Right here, nice stretch laid out. She does pike slightly, but opens up a little bit earlier. But again, she still has to take a hop on the landing.
And the score for Shannon Miller on the second vault, the 9.90. The average, very good, 9.85. Shannon Miller, 17 years old. So is Lavinia Milosovici. She may not be the best gymnast on this Romanian squad with the coming up of Gina, Gogean, but she's still considered the leader, the oldest girl on the squad.
This bar routine is packed full of difficulty. 3 release skills. She just performed the first. Second one coming up right here. A Skinner style, beautifully executed. And it's not over yet. She still has one more plan before a big dismount. Tkachev so smooth, making this look all too easy.
Big and a little bit unorthodox double front here. Oh, God, bend those knees, Milo. Folks, that hurts when you do that. She's dropping from at least, I don't know, 10, 12 feet in the air, and you got to know where you are in the air in the sport of gymnastics, and she just did not know. The same style landing blind, flipping forwards.
And you know, it's right there, trying to absorb that landing, and as you said, Tim, to bend those knees a little bit more. That really hurts.
Absorb, that was more like a bounce right there.
And the score from Milo, 9.825.
Great routine, it was just the landing.
And our first look at 16-year-old Angela Ghimpu, a last-second replacement for this meet, wasn't even supposed to compete. And here she is.
I like this girl. She does an incredible vault. We've seen it basically from a few athletes so far, but she'll add a whole other twist, 1.5 twists off the horse.
You know, Tim, I think anyone would welcome this gymnast as a last-minute replacement. That was incredible. Finally, we've seen a different style vault. You know, this vault, hard to believe, is out of a 10.0, the same as that Arabian style vault. But in my mind, this is far more difficult because she cranks an extra twist.
Way more going on, and right there, that's everything. She sticks the landing. Awesome vault.
And the score, 9.85 for Ghimpu.
This might be the story right here. She's one of the inexperienced ones for the Romanians, but right out of the box answering the call. 2 great vaults.
Tim, not only inexperienced, but she and her coach Octavian Bellew spent 7.5 hours at the Washington Dulles Airport waiting to get clearance, waiting to get a visa so Ghimpu could compete.
I tell you, Dan, I'm looking at these numbers here, and the first vault she did perfectly stuck. 9.85, we saw 9.9 from Shannon. I don't know. Those numbers are definitely a bit harsh.
Our first look at Donnie Thompson, one of two juniors competing. Christy Powell in her first senior national event, and here is Donnie competing in her first as well.
Of course, Donnie is teammates with Christy Powell. Christy having a bit of a rough time on the uneven bars a little earlier. So far, so good for Donnie Thompson.
Off the bar right there. Major release, but you got to catch every time you fall off. Mandatory 5-10 deduction.
Tim, you know, she had a great bar routine going. That was her third release go, which is very impressive. That's the type of difficulty you need at today's standard.
Donnie, the youngest on this American squad at age 13.
Does a great dismount here. Same we've seen from the Romanians. Double layout and a great landing as well. Too bad, just a major fall. Once again, maybe just a little nervous. We said it earlier, competing with some of their idols, some of their heroes might be just a bit intimidating.
Well, you could see her lift her arms after she got off the uneven bar, saying, I don't know what happened.
So the scores after the first rotation in the individual standings. Shannon Miller, no surprise, leading the way. Perhaps the big surprise, Angela Ghimpu of Romania, currently in third place. In the team standings, a huge lead for Romania.
And gigantic after one event, Dan, but in a meet of this format, anything can happen.
And we'll see if Shannon Miller can lengthen her lead in the individual competition. She's coming up next on the bars.